Okay, guy, I got a funny one for you today on this one. So I was just watching this video. I'll put the link in the description if I can. It was about how white people had fears of black people in case if black people ever got power. This one was being interviewed in the late 80s, 1989. And she started talking about the way, her grandfather was a good man, but he was extremely racist. And she believes that you can be both a good person and racist at the same time. And she was also talking about how certain people were with desegregation efforts in the South, because this is what this from the South, United States, that the person would be in bed sick anytime they heard about any type of desegregation efforts. So that lets you know about that person, because apparently you get physically ill anytime, black people get near you, or the thought of black people getting near you. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to go back to her first point, which was that people, they feared what would happen if black people took over. And then I started thinking, like, the United States is a, democracy under the, a republic. How come it seems like white people throughout history, anytime they get any type of democracy, it always ends up being an authoritarian regime shortly thereafter, or eventually a king, a monarch of some type, emperor, whatever. One man ends up taking, the spot, because apparently white people don't know how to govern when it comes to everyone having a say. So that got me thinking, okay, 5th century BC, we had Athens. Oh, we know how that ended. 30 tyrants. Plus, you ended up with Alexander the Great. Okay, you're under one person. Okay, same 5th century BC, not too far away from the Greeks. You got, the Roman Republic after the kings. That lasted a little while, and then you end up with Julius Caesar's dictatorship and his nephew's emperorship. Now you have the Principate, and now you end up with the dominant decades later. So that ends up into empire, not a democracy. Now, I have no idea what the Keisha is on the right. Don't even pay attention to her with her fake hair. Anyway, then I start thinking about the little Italian republics that happened around the medieval time period. 6th century up to 11th century. All those Italian republics, they disappeared and they got subsumed by, say, Napoleon. And all those other little republics and free states that were part of the Holy Roman Empire, of course, since they're part of the Holy Roman Empire, you answer to an emperor, even though he really didn't have that much power, but whatever. Oh, the Dutch Republic, that turned into the Batavian Republic, and then that ended up being a monarch later on as well, so they can't do that right. All right, now you have the United States, and then they vote this guy in. The majority of them voted 3 times for Trump, and everyone knows he wants to be a dictator, and they voted for him. So they can't even do that correctly either. So it sounds like to me that when they get their hands on government, they fuck it up. Leave your comments below.